Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. It is News and Views with me, Julie Ali, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the show Brother Arshad Yusufzai. He's a journalist and he's been engaged with the Taliban since 2009 in the humanitarian process and peace talks. And I should imagine it's a huge, huge day of celebration for the Afghan people because the final American troops have left the Afghan soil. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you.
A big day indeed, is it not?
It is indeed, yes. As we have seen and we have heard last night, after the last American plane took off from Hamid Karzai International Airport, there was jubilation, there was celebratory firing that continued for many minutes. It was really noisy in Kabul, and then, some of the Taliban elders had to take to social media on Twitter and Facebook and also on WhatsApp groups, requesting their brothers, the Taliban fighters, not to, engage themselves in celebratory firing, but to thank Allah for whatever He offered them and for cleaning the country from the American presence.
Now, the Western narrative obviously has painted the Taliban from what they understand of them from 20 years ago. And I hate using this word, but in the context of what we're discussing now, let me use the word. They have been tainted as terrorists. The whole Western world is sitting and waiting with bated breath. They're waiting for the Taliban to slip up. And I think the scores of Afghani people who fled the country and the chaos we saw at the airport the past 2 weeks didn't help the situation for the Taliban, did it?
No, it certainly did not. It's not just people leaving. It's not common people or people who helped the foreign troops in Afghanistan in their past 20 years presence. It is also a brain drain, I would say. Many technical people, experts in their fields, they have also tried to flee the country, and many have done so. It includes doctors and engineers and computer experts, telecom engineers, you name it. Everybody, even journalists, actors, singers, they have tried to flee and they have gone to other countries. In the short term, we might not see any difference, but in the long term, and the Taliban are aware of this, that they would need such people to run the country. There would be a shortage of many experts. So in terms of that, yes, the Taliban are going to face this challenge because they have experts, but they're not enough. They're not, extremely qualified, I would say, and they don't have the experience of managing or running a country. Small businesses, small organizations, yes, they were employed or they have the experience, but this is a challenging time for the Taliban now. These things are, running a country is really a great thing to do, and I believe they would still try to convince those who are still left in Afghanistan not to leave the country. They can do is to provide them security, to reassure them that they will be safe in the country. The Taliban have succeeded to some extent in that, because whoever is left behind or whoever had no choice to leave, they are still there, and slowly, with the passage of time and after reassurances, they will come out and join the Taliban in their offices, in the government running, I believe.
You've been involved with the Taliban since 2009. You have seen the change in the Taliban, that they genuinely want to make Afghanistan very governable, ease the conditions of the people, because I understand possibly up to 72% of the people live in poverty or below the poverty line. What is your sense of the Taliban over the years? How have you seen them changing? And how do you see, we do know you've just hinted at a brain drain, but are you confident that they're going to turn the situation around, that they're going to win the hearts of the people, and they're going to truly make Afghanistan a wonderful country to be in?
Yes, such questions make a journalist, feel uncomfortable, because there is the professional duty and then there is what you see and believe that is happening on ground. But I'll be honest with my profession, and I'll be honest that with my experiences with the Taliban, I do believe, yes, I believe that they have changed a lot. They have changed in the sense that they now have an open vision. It's not just focused on one thing, but they look at the whole world. They understand that to survive in this universe, in this world, they have to go along with the international community. However, it does not mean that they would compromise everything. They do understand that wherever Islam and the Sharia permit, they can have softer or lenient versions or visions that can implement. In some parts, it's permissible, so they will not compromise on that. No. But I think the challenges they are going to face ahead, and the way they are going to do it, one thing is for sure. Like recently I was discussing an important matter with one of the seniors, and he tells me, brother, it's not about the technology, it's not about the strength, it's how Allah guides you. So their belief is in Allah is very strong. That was the case with the founder, Mullah Muhammad Umar Mujahid, and this is going on in the movement till now, that they believe in the guidance of Allah. And even they tell it clearly, this victory was not possible without the help of Allah. So they are seeking guidance from Allah, they are seeking guidance from the holy book, Quran, and they have religious leaders who guide them. Apart from that, they have a young blood or a young generation that has got quality education in different parts of the world, namely Islamabad, Istanbul or Ankara, Doha and Dubai. And these people are not just graduates from madrasas, but they have gone to the universities, they have studied computer, they have studied medicine, they have studied international relations and politics and journalism and anything, you name it. So I believe it's a mix of religiously guided people and then people who have religious background as well as modern education. And this makes it a good combination, because these youngsters would play a vital role in the survival of the Taliban government in the future of Afghanistan.
Okay, recently there was a bomb blast at Kabul airport. Many lives were lost. ISIS has taken responsibility for it. The Americans then attacked, and sadly, well, they boasted about the fact that they had killed 2 ISIS cadres. But as it turns out, a very innocent family, 10 members of a family, 6 children from that family were killed as well. The Americans haven't issued a statement or an apology in that regard. Their excuse is that they're still investigating that issue. Are we going to see more of this? Okay, the Americans are out of the picture now, but going forward, ISIS has accused the Taliban of having colluded with the Americans, and that is why the Taliban are now in power. They are not happy with the status quo as we speak. How do you see all of that playing out?
Yes, just to clarify one thing, the Americans carried out at least 2 drone attacks, and then there was a third incident yesterday where Patriot missiles were used to target rockets that were fired toward the Kabul airport. So in the first incident, in the drone attack in Nangarhar, 2 ISIS members were killed. Allegedly, the US said that they were the planners or they were going to carry out an attack. The second one in Kabul that happened day before yesterday, that is the one where civilians were killed, and the family has come out and said that yes, our family members have been killed. And as you rightly said, the Americans have not apologized officially. They say that it is possible, and there was a possibility that civilians were killed. Nothing more than that has come out yet. But when we talk about the ISIS role in Afghanistan, it's confusing, because the Taliban have been saying or labeling that the ISIS is working for the Americans. And if we go back to 2018, the Taliban were fighting ISIS in Logar and also in Ghazni, and they were going to completely wipe out the presence of ISIS from both provinces, when the Taliban allegedly said that Afghan forces or unmarked helicopters picked the remaining ISIS commanders from the area. Similar allegations came from the ex-president Hamid Karzai when he said the Americans were backing ISIS in Afghanistan. So that's what the Taliban say about ISIS. On the other side, as you rightly mentioned, ISIS say that the Taliban and Americans have colluded, and they are joining hands, and that's why Taliban came into power. Now, what we are expecting in the future is, since America has gone out, and they can clearly say that we don't have any stakes or nothing to do in Afghanistan, but I don't think America would leave or would want to leave Afghans alone or the Taliban alone in this situation in order to save their faces. It's just like a big shame for them to leave Afghanistan like this. So I believe that they will continue supporting, Taliban's regime or presence in a way that they will be providing technology, that is intelligence about ISIS activities. Since they have the technology, they can monitor anything from the space, from the sky. There is possibility that drones would be used, although the Taliban have said that the Americans would not be allowed, they would not have any permission to use the drones. But I doubt the Taliban have any capacity to shoot these drones or even the B-52 bombers. For me, I think the ISIS attacks would increase now, unfortunately, although they are very little in number. Some say that they are between 2 to 3,000 people, but the ways they operate now, the terrorist activities that they are going to conduct in future, just like we saw yesterday in that incident where a car was targeted, a modified car with 5 rockets fitted inside. So I fear that things are going to get worse immediately, but I also have strong faith in the Taliban intelligence gathering and their ability to strike back. And if they were to come in face-to-face or hand-to-hand battle, the Taliban would have an upper hand against ISIS.
And that's where we leave it. Lovely talking to you. Inshallah, we will talk some more in the future. That was Arshad Yusufzai, journalist based in Afghanistan, talking to us about, obviously, the American troops, a total pullout of Afghanistan and the way forward for the Taliban. And he sounds very, very confident indeed. Of course, there are one or two concerns: the brain drain in Afghanistan and the threat of ISIS presence in the country as well.